You tap the stock and the screen lights up. A price, $180. A little green arrow, the company's logo. A chart that's been climbing for a solid year. Your thumb drifts toward the buy button, and everything on that screen is built to push it the last inch. Buy now before it goes higher. And almost everyone, in that exact moment, checks the same thing. They look at the price. Is $180 a lot? Is it cheap? Didn't it used to be $200? They glance at the chart. They think about whether someone they follow online mentioned it. And then they click. I want to tell you something that took me an embarrassingly long time to really understand. That price on the screen, the $180, is, on its own, almost completely meaningless. It cannot tell you whether you're overpaying. It cannot tell you whether a stock is cheap or expensive. A $180 stock can be wildly overpriced, and a $1,000 stock can be a genuine bargain, and the price by itself will never, ever tell you which is which. And I want to be honest with you, because a certain kind of finance video genuinely frustrates me. This is not going to be one of those videos where someone tells you to do your research and buy low, sell high, and acts like they've handed you something. That's not information. That's a fortune cookie. What I want to do today is show you the one number, a single, specific number you can find in about 10 seconds that actually tells you what you're paying. And once you understand what it is and why it works, the question in the title is going to answer itself. Not because I told you the answer, but because you'll see the machinery underneath it. And when you understand the reason behind a rule, you never forget the rule. So let's build it from the ground up. The first thing you have to understand is what a share price actually represents, because most people have it slightly wrong, and that small wrongness is the source of nearly every bad decision that follows. When you buy a share, you are not buying a number that wiggles up and down on a screen. You're buying a tiny slice of a real business, its buildings, its customers, its profits. And a business is worth something specific. It's worth the money it earns. So the only honest question you can ask about a stock is not, what does it cost? It's, what am I getting for what it costs? And here is the part almost nobody pictures correctly. Two stocks at completely different prices can hand you wildly different amounts of business for your money. Let me show you with real numbers, because this is where it clicks. Imagine two companies. Company A trades at $180 a share. Over the past year, it earned $9 of profit for every single share. Company B trades at a much friendlier-looking $40 a share, and it earned $1 of profit per share. Now, instinct screams that the $40 stock is the cheaper one. It's $40. It's right there. But watch what happens when you ask the real question. What am I paying for each dollar of profit? For Company A, you pay $180 to get $9 of annual earnings. That's $20 of price for every $1 of profit. For Company B, you pay $40 to get $1 of earnings. That's $40 of price for every dollar of profit. Sit with that for a second. The $40 stock is twice as expensive as the $180 stock. Not cheaper, twice as expensive for the actual thing you are buying, which is the company's earnings. That number we just worked out has a name, and it is the single most important number you can check before you buy anything. It's the price-to-earnings ratio, the PE ratio. You take the share price, you divide it by the earnings per share, and you get one clean number that tells you exactly how many dollars you are paying for $1 of that company's annual profit. Company A had a PE of 20. Company B had a PE of 40. And you never would have known that by staring at the price tag. The price hides it. The PE reveals it.
Here's a way to actually feel what that number means. Because the math is one thing, but the intuition is what sticks. A PE of 20 means that if the company kept earning exactly what it earns now and handed every cent of it straight to you, It would take 20 years to earn back what you paid for your share. 20 years of profit, priced in today. A PE of 40 means 40 years. You are quite literally paying for decades of future earnings up front. So when someone buys a stock at a PE of 90, and people do this all the time in the heat of a hot story, they are paying for 90 years of the company's current profit, betting that the future will look nothing like the present. Sometimes that bet pays off. Often, it is a quiet catastrophe. But at the very least, now you can see the bet you're making instead of clicking blind. But here's where I have to stop you. Because if you walk away right now with nothing but low PE good, high PE bad, this number will eventually cost you money. There are two traps hiding inside it, and almost every beginner falls into at least one of them. So I have to be honest about the other half of this, because if I stopped here, I'd be doing the exact thing I criticized at the start, handing you a rule without its context. A low PE is not automatically good, and a high PE is not automatically bad. The number is the first thing you check, not the last. Here is why. The PE only looks at the profit a company earns right now. It says nothing about how fast that profit is growing. A company growing its earnings 30% a year genuinely deserves a higher PE than a company that hasn't grown in a decade. Because you're not really buying this year's profit, you're buying the much larger profit it is about to produce. And this is the trap, in both directions. A stock with a scary PE of 35 can be perfectly reasonable if it's growing fast. And a stock with a cheap PE of 7 can be a quiet disaster, what's called a value trap, a dying business whose price has collapsed for a very good reason, where the cheapness is the warning, not the bargain. Context matters in one more way you have to know about. Different kinds of businesses live at different normal PE levels. A fast-moving technology company and a slow, steady utility company are not supposed to carry the same PE, any more than a sports car and a delivery truck are supposed to have the same top speed. The U.S. market as a whole has historically sat at an average PE somewhere around 15 to 16 over the long run. So that becomes your rough sense of gravity. Well above it, you are paying a premium, and you had better have a reason. Well below it, something is either a real opportunity or genuinely broken, and your job is to find out which. The PE does not end the investigation. It starts it. It is the first question, and it tells you which question to ask next. So let me close where we started. Your cursor hovering over that buy button, the price glowing at $180. The difference between an investor and a gambler is not a secret formula or a special account or information nobody else has. It is almost embarrassingly simple. The gambler looks at the price, the chart, and the feeling in their chest and clicks. The investor does one small thing first. They find the earnings, they do one piece of division, and they ask a single quiet question. What am I actually paying for what this business earns? That's it. That is the entire ritual. 10 seconds with one number before you ever look at a stock price the same way again. Most people will never do it. Not because it's hard, you just watched how simple it is, but because nobody ever showed them that the price on the screen was hiding the only thing that mattered. So the next time you are about to buy, before the chart, before the hype, before the price even registers, find the PE. Run the one piece of division. Let that number tell you what you are really paying. It will not make every decision for you, but it will keep you out of the worst ones. And over a lifetime of investing, avoiding the worst decisions is most of the game. If this changed how that buy button looks to you, stick around,
because the next video takes the one number the pros run right after this one, the number that separates a great business from a merely cheap one. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.